Hungry right here? The invisible epidemic. It's the last day of school. Everyone is excited about the long summer break. Everyone except the boy named Aaron. He slumps in his chair with his head on his desk. His stomach rumbles. The only food he's had today is school lunch, and he knows the cabinets at home are empty. His mom works two jobs, but by the end of the month, they always run out of money for food. He sighs, thinking of the long summer ahead. Like Aaron, millions of American children go hungry every day. Maybe you are one of them. According to the U.S. State's Department of Agriculture, 35.2 million Americans lived in food insurance households in 2019. This means they did not always have enough food for everyone living there. Of these Americans, 10.7 million were children. That's about 1 in 7 children in the United States who were food insecure. Hunger brings pain and stress. The Center of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has found that children who don't get enough to eat have more health problems and miss more schools than those who do. When kids are hungry at school, they have a harder time learning. Hunger also has long-term effects. Children grow fast and their brains develop rapidly at a young age. Too little food can slow both their physical and mental development. The United States exports millions of pounds of food, and the government has programs to help people who can't afford food. Yet, there is an epidemic of hunger in the United States. Why? Why people can't afford food? Bad things can happen to anyone. A factory closes and a parent-in-law loses a job. A guardian gets sick and can't work. A single parent must stay home to take care of an aging family member or sick child. When families lose income or don't have enough to begin with, they often have to make tough choices. Sometimes that choice is to either pay the bills or eat. Millions of Americans work full-time and sometimes still go hungry. Women is particular USDA figures show that more than 60% of adults receiving food assistance are women. According to the U.S. Census, more than 80% of single parents caring for children are women, and they are twice as likely to live in poverty as single fathers caring for children. When mothers are living poverty, their children often are too. How food assistance works. Federal food assistance began as a way for the government to help farmers during the Great Depression. Starting in 1933, the USDA bought farmers extra crops and gave them to those in need. In 1939, the government began issuing actual stamps that people used to buy surplus food. By 1964, the program allowed people to buy any type of food, not just extra from farmers. In 2008, the food stamp program was renamed the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, to reflect the program's new emphasis on nutrition. In 2019, SNAP helped more than 35 million Americans. The average monthly food stamp benefit is less than $5 a day. Another federal program, the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, WIC, helps prevent pregnant women and children under the age of 5. WIC provides a specific nutritious foods, such as milk, baby formula, and baby food. More than 30 million children. The National School Lunch Program also provides free or reduced cost lunches at public schools regardless of income. The politics of hunger. While the government offers a safety net to many hungry Americans, the amount of money budgeted for federal food programs varies from year to year. In some years, Congress cuts billions in spending for SNAP. In some years, it increases spending for school lunch programs. People argue about how much the federal government should spend on these food programs. They also disagree about who should qualify for help. For instance, some people think the government should change in current measure of poverty. Developed in the 1960s, this government formula accounts for inflation. It does not account for other rising costs. However, or shifting demands on Americans' budgets, costs such as child care, housing, and education have increased much more than food. As a result, more families today struggle to pay their bills, even for those who qualify. Not everyone who needs help gets help. Many people may not know they qualify or don't know how to apply for SNAP. Others could be embarrassed to ask for help. Applying for benefits often means taking off work, something people who can't afford food can't afford to miss. Filling the gap. When government funding is not enough to meet the needs of hungry Americans, local food programs help fill the gap. Food banks in every state collect food from growers, restaurants, and grocery stores to distribute to charities, such as food pantries and soup kitchens that serve the public. Food banks often provide canned or boxed foods because storing fresh produce, for instance, is difficult. For people with lower incomes, a nutritional gap can sometimes be filled by country gardens. Here, people plant, care for, and harvest produce to use at home or share with the community. Many community gardeners grow vegetables for their local food banks. Feeding America, the largest non-profit organization helping American families, has more than 200 food banks and 60,000 food pantries that feed about 12 million kids each year. However, charity account to less than 6% of the food assistance in the United States. As cost rises, wages stay the same, and federal food programs are cut. These organizations are finding that they cannot meet the needs of hungry people. They often run out of food and have to turn families away. Kids can make a difference. Many kids help fight hunger in America. Students in Concord, New Hampshire hosted a hungry banquet for their parents. The cost to attend the banquet was canned food for the food pantry. A 6th grade class in Buckingham, Massachusetts made an award-winning video about hunger to raise awareness in its community. Other students have raised money for food banks through food bake sales, art sales, car washes, walkathons, and readathons. Sam Adamo played his cello at a local farmer's market and collected $1,700 for his local food bank in Rhode Island. Charleston Paston created a cookbook for and by kids. The cookbook sale raised more than $20,000 for the Northern Illinois Food Bank. Macy Stewart collected 844 pounds of food by distributing empty bags in her school and asking classmates to fill their St. Mary's Food Bank in Surprise, Arizona. When a 7-year-old William Winslow realized that kids in Wake County, North Carolina, would not have food over spring break, he asked the local restaurant to team up with him. The restaurant gave free cheese dips to customers who brought the food from Backpack Buddies, a program that sends meal on weekends for students in need. When William asked the local grocery store to let him stand outside and tell people about the program, in only a week he collected 1,400 pounds of food and 305 in cash donations. Now in 4th grade, William still holds an annual fundraiser. In 2016, he enlisted the organized 171 volunteers to collect donations. At 10 grocery stores, donations provided 11,000 meals to regional children in 2017. He hopes to expand throughout the state of North Carolina. William says, "I'm just an involved regular kid. Any kid can make a difference if they want to. It's just whether they want to or not." How can people help? People with a family garden can donate extra produce to local food pantry, or plant an extra patch of vegetables to donate. Kids can also donate part of their allowance and encourage others to do the same. Kids in London Country, Virginia, came up with a plan to allow kids to donate a dime to the food bank each time they bought lunch. Encourage the school campaigns to work products to support food banks. Look around your community, find out what the local food banks and charities need and at what time of the year the need is greatest. Share what you find with friends, family, and neighbors. Most communities let them know by writing a letter to your local newspaper. Write a report on hunger in your community and present it to your class. Write letters to your representatives in Congress and to the state and local governments. Encourage them to support programs that help make sure no child goes hungry. Start a letter writing campaigns at school to tell government officials what you think. We have the resources to ensure that children like Aaron never go hungry again. We just need the will to make it happen.